Everyone talks about how to prepare financially for retirement. Almost nobody talks about what actually happens in the first year after you get there. The reality is that the first 12 months of retirement contain surprises that no financial plan fully prepares you for. Emotional, social, practical, and financial surprises that catch even the most prepared people off guard. Today, I am sharing 10 things that almost nobody tells you about the first year of retirement. Some of these are financial, some are psychological, some are social. All of them are real, and knowing them in advance means you will navigate them far better than someone who encounters them cold. This video is relevant for 3 groups: people about to retire in the next 12 months, people in their first year of retirement right now, and people who are a few years in and wish someone had told them these things on day 1. All 3 groups will recognize something in this list. Thing number 1, identity shock. For most people who worked for 30 or 40 years, their identity was deeply tied to what they did for a living. Teacher, engineer, sales manager, nurse. On the first Monday of retirement, that identity disappears. Not slowly, overnight. And the question, who am I now, can feel surprisingly destabilizing. What nobody tells you, this is completely normal and almost universal. Studies of retirement transitions consistently show that the identity adjustment is the most underestimated challenge of the first year. It typically takes 6 to 18 months to build a new sense of identity based on who you are, rather than what you do. The practical solution? Before you retire, deliberately develop 1 or 2 meaningful activities that will form the foundation of your new identity. Volunteering, mentoring, a community role, a creative pursuit. These do not happen automatically. They require intentional effort to build before and during the transition. Thing number 2, too much time feels strange. Before retirement, the scarcity of time was your greatest complaint. Now, suddenly, you have 40 to 60 hours per week of unstructured time, the same hours that work used to fill. For many people, this is disorienting rather than liberating. The absence of structure can create low-grade anxiety. What nobody tells you, retirees who thrive in year 1 almost always create a loose weekly structure, not a rigid schedule, but a framework. Monday mornings for errands, Tuesday and Thursday for exercise, Wednesday for a standing social engagement. This structure preserves autonomy while preventing the formless anxiety of completely open days. Thing number 3, spending anxiety. After decades of saving and accumulating, actually spending from your savings feels psychologically wrong to many retirees. You worked hard to build that number. Watching it decline, even for expected expenses, can create an emotional discomfort that has nothing to do with whether the spending is financially sound. What nobody tells you, this spending anxiety is so common, it has a name in behavioral finance: decumulation anxiety. Research shows that retirees who have a written income plan spend money more comfortably than those who do not. When you can see clearly that your spending is within your plan and your money will last, the anxiety diminishes significantly. The practical framing that helps many retirees: think of your portfolio not as savings you are depleting, but as a pension you have built for yourself. Every withdrawal is not spending down savings, it is receiving a distribution from your own personal pension. This reframe is not just philosophical, it genuinely changes how people feel about spending. Thing number 4, social shrinkage. Work provided social connection effortlessly. Colleagues, meetings, shared problems, daily conversation. In retirement, that social infrastructure disappears, and most people significantly underestimate how much social connection their work was providing. What nobody tells you, the loneliness risk in retirement is real and documented. Studies show that retirees who maintain strong social connections live significantly longer and report higher well-being than those who become isolated. Social connection in retirement requires active effort in a way that work never required. The practical solution: build social commitments into your weekly structure before retirement. A standing coffee date, a volunteer shift, a class, a club, a religious community. The specific activity matters less than the regularity and the pre-commitment. Social activities you plan in advance happen. Social activities you plan to get around to eventually rarely do. Thing number 5. Retirement changes your marriage or partnership in ways that neither person fully anticipates. Suddenly, two people are home together most of the day with no built-in separation. Routines that worked when one or both partners were working need to be renegotiated. Space, pace, and purpose all require conversation. What nobody tells you: retirement is among the top 3 triggers for late-life divorce. Not because retirement ruins marriages, but because the structural change exposes tensions and incompatibilities that work schedules previously kept manageable. Couples who talk explicitly about their retirement expectations, space needs, social needs, purpose needs, navigate the transition far better. The conversation to have before retirement. Each partner answers 3 questions separately and then shares. What does my ideal retirement week look like? How much time do I want to spend together and how much alone? What is my personal sense of purpose in retirement? Differing answers are not problems. They are data points for negotiation. Thing number 6. Healthcare costs arrive at a different scale than most people plan for. In the first year of retirement, especially before Medicare at 65, healthcare can become your largest single expense. And even with Medicare, the out-of-pocket reality surprises almost everyone. What nobody tells you: the average retiree household spends approximately $12,000 to $15,000 per year on healthcare costs not covered by Medicare. This includes premiums, deductibles, co-pays, dental, vision, and hearing, the last 3 of which Medicare largely does not cover. Dental bills alone surprise most new retirees in year 1. Thing number 7. Market volatility feels completely different when you are withdrawing versus accumulating. During your working years, a 20% market drop was uncomfortable but abstract. Your portfolio would recover by the time you needed the money. In retirement, that same 20% drop hits your current income. The emotional experience is fundamentally different. What nobody tells you: the sequence of returns risk is real. If the market drops significantly in your first 2 to 3 years of retirement while you are withdrawing from your portfolio, the long-term damage is greater than the same drop occurring later. This is why a 1 to 2 year cash buffer and a written withdrawal plan provide not just financial, but emotional protection. The practical protection: have 1 to 2 years of living expenses in cash or very short-term bonds outside your investment portfolio. When the market drops, withdraw from the cash buffer instead of selling investments. This allows your investments to recover while your living expenses continue uninterrupted. The cash buffer is not just a financial tool, it is a psychological stabilizer. Thing number 8. The purpose vacuum. Work, even work you did not particularly love, provided a sense of purpose. Problems to solve, people to help, goals to reach. Without that daily purpose structure, some retirees experience a quiet flatness that is different from depression, but is genuinely uncomfortable. What nobody tells you: purpose in retirement must be deliberately constructed. It does not arrive automatically when you stop working. The retirees who report the highest well-being are those who identified a specific, meaningful contribution they wanted to make to a community, to a family, to a cause before they retired, and built their retirement around it. Thing number 9. Your relationship with generosity changes. When you had a steady paycheck, giving felt easy. In retirement, every dollar of giving comes from a finite pool. Many retirees pull back from charitable giving and family support in year 1, not because they want to, but because they suddenly feel uncertain about how much they can afford. What nobody tells you: there are powerful tax strategies that make retirement giving more efficient than working years giving. Qualified charitable distributions from your IRA after age 70 and a half are more tax efficient than cash donations. Donor-advised funds allow you to make a large contribution in a high-income year and distribute gifts over time. Knowing these tools makes giving feel sustainable again. Thing number 10, and I want to end on this one. Retirement is usually better than people expected once they get through the adjustment. The first year is genuinely the hardest year of retirement for most people. The surprises, the adjustments, the identity work. By year 2 or 3, most retirees report higher life satisfaction than they had during their last years of work. What the research actually shows: Multiple longitudinal studies of retirees show that retirement is associated with increased happiness, improved health habits, more time for relationships, and greater sense of control over daily life. The people who go in knowing about the year one challenges and planning for them end up in the best positions. The common thread connecting people who thrive in retirement, they treated retirement not as an ending, but as a beginning. Not the end of a career, but the beginning of a chapter where they got to define what mattered to them. They planned for both the financial and the human side. They expected adjustment and were not derailed when it came. Your 10-thing action list. One response to each of the 10 things covered today. Things 1 through 3. Identity, time, and spending anxiety. Action. Identify one meaningful activity that will anchor your new identity before you retire. Create a loose weekly framework. Write a one-page retirement income plan so spending feels intentional rather than anxious. Things 4 and 5. Social shrinkage and marriage dynamics. Action. Schedule at least 2 recurring social commitments before your last day of work. Have the explicit retirement expectations conversation with your partner. Ideal week, time together, personal purpose. Things 6 and 7. Healthcare reality and market fear. Action. Add $12,000 to $15,000 per person per year as a dedicated healthcare line in your retirement budget. Build a 1 to 2 year cash buffer outside your investment portfolio before retiring. Things 8, 9, and 10. Purpose, giving, and optimism. Action. Identify one specific, meaningful contribution you want to make in retirement before you leave work. Explore QCDs and donor-advised funds for more efficient charitable giving. And trust the research. Year 2 will likely be significantly better than year 1. If this video gave you a more honest picture of what the first year of retirement actually looks like, please share it with one person who is within 2 years of retiring. The surprises I described today are manageable when you see them coming. They are much harder when they arrive without warning. Drop a comment. Which of the 10 things resonates most with your own experience or anticipation? Identity, time, spending, social, marriage, healthcare, market fear, purpose, giving, or the optimism at the end. Drop the number and one sentence. Subscribe to Calm Money Retirement. Every Tuesday, we cover one retirement finance topic. Every Friday, we cover one retirement lifestyle or planning topic. Together, they give you the complete picture of what retirement actually requires, financially and humanly. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute personalized financial, psychological, or relationship advice. Individual retirement experiences vary significantly. Financial information in this video reflects general principles and may not apply to your specific situation. Please consult licensed professionals for personalized guidance. Calm Money Retirement is not a registered investment advisor.